A life often presents us with shattered pieces, moments of rupture, losses that tear the soul, disillusions that seem to leave in ruins what was once whole. But what if true strength isn't in hiding these cracks, but in transforming them into rivers of light? And what if the path to your deepest inner power resides exactly where you see the greatest fragility? In this dive into spiritual awakening, we will unveil an ancient Japanese art that invites us to reframe pain and imperfection, revealing the hidden gold in every crack of our journey. Prepare for an inner transformation that transcends the surface and touches the essence of your soul. How many times have we tried to mask the pain, the flaws, the imperfections of our story? Society, and even certain superficial spiritual currents, teach us to seek an image of perfection, of constant light, as if shadow were an enemy to be fought. But this silent escape is, in fact, one of the greatest saboteurs of our self-knowledge and the awakening of consciousness. We flee from emptiness, from anguish, from what seems broken to us, seeking ready answers or external fulfillment that never arrives. This avoidance of pain is, in essence, a postponement of our own truth. Imagine that every emotional scar, every unprocessed trauma, every harbored disillusionment is a crack that, instead of being seen as a defect, can be a profound invitation. An invitation to look inward, into the inner silence, and question what truly hides beneath the surface of our suffering. The fear of silence, the desire for control, and for immediate answers are unconscious forces that push us away from relational authenticity and our true presence. It is in this space of non-acceptance that the spiritual ego disguises itself, promising a light that ignores the richness of our humanity. This attempt to hide what hurts us, to camouflage the imperfect, traps us in patterns of invisible suffering. We create a spirituality that is an escape from the real, a false awakening, where the ego wears clothes of light to protect itself. But spiritual truth whispers to us, "You are not broken. You are in transformation." All healing begins with the acceptance of what hurts, and it is in this sincere recognition that the journey of emotional healing begins. Many times, it is in the refusal to dive into these turbulent waters that we lose the opportunity to find the pearl of wisdom they hold, preventing the flourishing of a more integral and lucid human being who longs to reconnect with the whole. But what if this supposed fragility, this crack that we try so hard to hide, was actually an invitation to beauty, not shame? And what if your pain was an invitation to beauty, not shame? This is what the Japanese philosophy of wabi-sabi and its art of Kintsugi teach us. Wabi-sabi celebrates beauty in imperfection, transience, and the simplicity of nature. It's not about seeking perfection, but about finding wholeness in what already exists, with its marks and its history. Kintsugi, which means to repair with gold, is the materialization of this wisdom. When a ceramic breaks, it is not discarded or hidden. Its fissures are filled with lacquer and gold powder, making the piece even more valuable and unique. The scars become rivers of light, a testament to its history and resilience. This art is a mirror for our soul. It invites us to a deep reconnection with the essential self, recognizing that the cracks in our lives, the losses, the challenges, the disillusions, are not signs of weakness, but rather paths to an untapped strength. Kintsugi does not hide what was broken. It illuminates the imperfections, transforming them into beauty. This is a wisdom that goes beyond aesthetics. It is an invitation to an ethical posture and maturity in human relationships, where vulnerability is not a defect, but a portal to authenticity. This perspective leads us to a contemplation of life where beauty lies in rusticity, in the wear of time, in the marks that shape us. It is an antidote to the culture of perfection and always being well. Kintsugi reminds us that we don't need to be immune to pain to be strong. In fact, it is in how we embrace and integrate our fissures that our true inner power resides. This perennial philosophy teaches us to love our history completely, with all its breaks and all its reframings, guiding us towards genuine inner transformation. This radical acceptance of brokenness as part of the whole frees us from the incessant search for external wholeness, revealing that perfection resides in the totality of our being, with its lights and shadows, integrated by presence and the wisdom that emerges from the process. It is precisely from this recognition that we open ourselves to an even deeper paradox. It's a profound paradox. Often, it is at the point of greatest rupture that we find the door to our true inner power. When something breaks within us, be it an ideal, a relationship, or even an image we had of ourselves, we are forced to stop. In this fertile void, where old structures crumble, lies the opportunity for a new awakening of consciousness. It is when the whole fragments that the soul has space to reconfigure itself, not returning to what it was, but becoming something vaster and richer, filled with the gold of experience and acquired wisdom. This brokenness is not an end, but a portal. Think of a vase that is only useful because it has empty space. Similarly, our fissures open inner spaces for the entry of a new presence, of a lucidity that was previously obscured by excess, by ready answers, and by dogmatic certainties. This is the invitation to listen to the soul, to perceive that pain is not a punishment, but often a teacher, an invitation to a profound inner transformation. It is like the seed that blossoms in the dark, needing darkness for life to manifest. Society teaches us to avoid pain at all costs, but the path of self-knowledge shows us that it is in the courage to look at what has been broken that our greatest strength resides. The paradox is that, by embracing our vulnerabilities and imperfections, we become invulnerable. When we recognize that we are, by nature, beings in constant flux and impermanence, the need for control diminishes, and the fluidity of the river of life carries us to where we truly need to be. This is how brokenness becomes the foundation for a spiritual truth that frees us from illusions and connects us to the vastness of our being. The surrender to this often painful process of fragmentation and reunification is what refines the soul, revealing a spiritual maturity not found in the absence of challenges, but in how we integrate them and allow them to shape us into a more authentic and conscious existence. But how, then, do we translate this understanding into daily practices, making it part of a true craftsmanship of our presence? How, then, do we transform these cracks into rivers of light in our daily lives? The Kintsugi of the soul is a craftsmanship of presence, a contemplative practice that unites our broken pieces with consciousness and love. It is not a magical technique, but a continuous commitment to inner listening and to the acceptance of what is. True inner transformation happens in quietude, in the gentle observation of our patterns and emotions, without judgment. A simple and powerful practice is conscious breathing. By silencing mental noise and focusing on inhaling and exhaling, you open a window to your soul. This intentional pause allows silent wisdom to emerge, dissolving inner chaos and revealing what noise hides. It is not necessary to let go or think positive in an empty way. It is about being present with what arises, embracing without infantilizing, teaching without imposing. Another practice is guided Kintsugi visualization. Imagine your own fissures, whether emotional, mental, or spiritual. Observe them without fear, without aversion. Now, visualize a flow of golden light filling each of these cracks. Feel this light becoming part of you, not erasing the history, but transforming it into a source of inner power. This is a way to re-educate your perception, to recognize that pain, when embraced, can be the catalyst for a new awakening of consciousness. Remember, healing begins where you stop fighting what you feel. It is in this delicate craftsmanship of presence that emotional healing happens, uniting what seemed broken and revealing the integral beauty of your being. By allowing ourselves to feel and observe, without the need to fill every void or flee from every discomfort, we open space for life to manifest in its totality, transforming each experience into a golden thread that weaves the unique tapestry of our existence. And it is in this intertwining of experience and presence that the narrative of our regeneration manifests in rivers of gold. Our journey of spiritual awakening is like a river, It meanders, encounters obstacles, but its nature is to flow. And each curve, each overcome obstacle, fills its banks with golden sediments, experience, wisdom, inner transformation. The rivers of gold in the soul are the living metaphors of this regeneration, proof that what seemed like an irreversible breakage was, in fact, the beginning of a new form of wholeness. It's not about erasing the past, but about integrating every part of our history with compassion and authenticity. Think of the metaphor of the candle that remains lit in silence. It doesn't shout, it just illuminates. Similarly, our soul is not in a hurry. It has rhythm. The courage to be whole in life does not mean being free of scars, but rather displaying these marks as a map of your journey, a testament to resilience and spiritual truth. It is the awareness that the void is not absence. It is the womb of the invisible. It is the understanding that our imperfections, when embraced, become the most authentic features of our beauty, like the golden lines of a Kintsugi ceramic. The reconnection with the essential self invites us to a real presence, where life is interdependent and every part has its value. This is the spirituality that expresses itself both in contemplation and in lucid action, in critical reflection and in conscious decisions. Ultimately, what the Kintsugi of the soul teaches us is that being whole is not being perfect, but rather being honest with every fragment of ourselves, allowing the light of consciousness to fill the fissures and reveal the indestructible inner power that has always been there. Don't chase the light. Become the lamp lit in the dark. This profound truth reminds us that the journey of the soul is a continuous process of acceptance and renewal, where each challenge becomes an opportunity to deepen our wisdom and our capacity to love and be loved in all our fullness. If something within you has calmed or awakened upon hearing these words, allow yourself to continue. Subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to walk with us along this fertile path of silence, discovery, and reconnection. Share your experience in the comments. Your sharing is also a seed of healing for other hearts. And to continue expanding this field of presence, we suggest the video in the card. May it be a gentle breath on your journey. Peace and light.